Grassroots Sessions. One day we'll clean up the landfills, the landfills, the landfills. One day we'll clean up the landfills. The earth is our beautiful home. Our home is disgraced by the waste we create. We create all our ways. Then we send all our waste away. What do you think that waste became? It remains our waste. We just send all our waste away. One day we'll have to face our waste. One day we'll clean up the landfills, the landfills, the landfills. One day we'll clean up the landfills, clean up the mess that we've made. Plastic could be made of hemp plants, which would not create any waste. Instead of these fossil fuel plastics, take 400 years to biodegrade. One day we'll clean up the landfills, the landfills, the landfills. One day we'll clean up the landfills, clean up the mess that we've made. Clothing could be made of hemp plants, which would not create any waste. Instead of these synthetic fibers, we don't even know if they biodegrade. One day we'll clean up the landfills, the landfills, the landfills. One day we'll clean up the landfills, clean up the mess that we've made. One day we'll clean up the landfills, the landfills, the landfills. One day we'll clean up the landfills. The earth is our beautiful home. Beautiful home.
Hello, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for joining us on Grassroots Sessions, and thank you so much to our amazing patrons for making these videos happen. We love you guys.
We love you all.
If you want to become a patron of our channel, then please check out the link below. And if you enjoyed today's song, please feel free to pop a quid in our virtual hat via the link below.
Yes, thank you so much to everyone who's been donating. Really cannot thank you enough for helping us keep Mobius Loop going with these grassroots sessions. And as you all know, we are so excited to start live performances again whenever that can be, to share the vibrations with you all. And yes, to all of our patrons, we love you. Thank you so much. So yeah, today's song is called "Clean Up the Landfills."
Alex wrote the song.
I wrote the song, and we tried to record it for 2020 Vision.
We did record it for 2020
No, we did record
Vision.
it, but we only 20 songs on the album for 2020 Vision, And then when we got down to it, turns out you only have like 80 odd minutes on a CD.
And it was too long. Our
recorded,
album was too long.
Recorded like 86 minutes worth of songs.
We had to cut 2 songs out of our album, including this one.
This one and Conscious Omnivore didn't make it. Yeah. They weren't on. We felt they weren't on par with the rest of the album.
They were great, but if we had to choose any 2 to lose, it was them.
So that we could do a better job for our next album, which we might be recording this year. Yeah. Fingers crossed. My fingers gonna be crossed. So this is called Clean Up the Landfills. This song is inspired by the fact that globally most of our waste is disposed into landfills, which is causing such devastation to nature and to the land and to Mother Earth. A bad situation that could be renewed by hemp. That's essentially what the song is saying. Hemp has been criminalised across the world throughout the past century, even though before that it was being used for all of the ship's sails, ship's rope, paper, textiles. That Henry Ford was working with it as a plastic for the outsides of cars and also as a fuel to run engines with. Queen Victoria was prescribed it as a medicine by her doctor. It's been used medicinally all over the world throughout many, many cultures. It's been used spiritually, recreationally. One of the oldest fibres is known to us is a piece of hemp cloth. And we're really trying to push this movement of of destigmatizing the cannabis hemp plant and bringing it back in. Katie's actually wearing a hemp garment that she made.
Yeah, woven on our hemp redemption loom. Before I talk about that, I wanted to chat about how hemp has been criminalised because it is a direct competitor to all major petrochemical industries in our world.
Yeah.
So when we say everything that's made of plastic can be made of hemp, that's because hemp is the biodegradable alternative. Yeah. And it just so happens to have been criminalised. The plastic industry, the petrochemical industry, are selling plastic in such a way that all of the clothes are made of plastic and all of the packaging is made of plastic, and that creates huge profits for plastic industries. And then hemp being a biodegradable alternative is just not being mass produced in the same way because of the stigmatization and the criminalization of such an incredible plant. And everything plastic can be made of hemp. If the government can mandate that every citizen wears a mask when they're inside a building, then the government can mandate that every company uses a biodegradable packaging for their products, and then we wouldn't have this insane pollution of our oceans and our land. And I think it's such a beautiful song that you've written. It's really, really important.
Oh, thank you. It was coming through on one of the festival tours, I think last year or the year before, and it was coming through on the little toy piano, melody. Ding, 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 ding.
And we were singing it with all the kids.
We're singing it with the kids. Yeah, there's a clip on our Facebook somewhere of us singing it with a lot of children.
The kids were getting all the harmonies going, weren't they?
It was great.
It's funny because it's such a happy la 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 song,
la la la,
but it's actually a really sad and awful subject that the landfills. There's still today, in this modern era of incredible intelligence and technological advancements, they're just throwing things over in a pile. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and none of it's biodegrading.
Just put all that there. We're getting ready for space. It's like, what? Don't destroy Mother Earth. Like
she make a landfill on the moon. Or what?
Yeah. It's like
and one of the major contributors to these landfills, unfortunately, is nappies that children are wearing. All the kids the nappies that you were put in, maybe as children, I don't know the time scale of you, but all the nappies I were put in as a kid, they're still in a landfill somewhere.
Wow.
They take like 500 years to even start decomposing. They're just still there full of shit.
That's what I mean about we'll face our waste, because these landfills are just expanding and and
crazy.
if we've got a conscience for this, then we'll try and work together as a species to cleanse the devastation we've created.
And we're all trying to do our bit to lessen that impact, and it's hard. We're living in this society. Everything we buy is covered in this stuff. We've tried to do cloth nappies with our son. We live in a van. It's been very difficult, and
we did it though.
We did it.
He's out of nappies
as
now.
much as we could. He's potty trained like a legend.
At 2 and 4 months.
2 years old. We're so proud of him because it's so much easier when they're not in nappies. But he was in cloth nappies, and we were at the laundrette all the time, and who knows about the ecological impact of that, but ultimately we just couldn't bring ourselves to add to the landfill in that way with nappies, just because they use so many of them. So we were using these cloth nappies, and buying them secondhand and then passing them on when we finish with them, and and another massive contributor to the landfills is the clothing. So these textile industry is so huge, and people are buying what they call fast fashion, where it's like cheap clothes that you wear for a week or a month and then you throw that away and buy a new one.
Whatever,
and we basically haven't shopped at a shop for anything new.
A commercial shop
For like nearly 10 years, because we buy everything from charity
shops, mate.
Yeah, which unfortunately still a lot of the clothes are synthetic fibres.
Yeah.
And it's nice to support the charity and stuff, but it is sad to...
also, being vegan, we don't want to buy leather and wool, even from a charity
fibers,
shop. And so then we end up looking at, polyester and acrylics.
And we're looking at that thinking, well, that's not exactly very vegan, because it ends up in the ocean and it kills all the fish.
But we end up buying those ones, or mainly cotton. We always look out for cotton.
Or we end up making our own hemp clothes.
Yeah, we've got a wardrobe full of them.
We've got one waistcoat that took 5 years to make, and I'm joking. But yeah, this hemp waistcoat that I made was a piece of hemp cloth that I was weaving on our hemp redemption loom. The hemp was spun on a spinning wheel, so usually you see people spinning like sheep's wool on a spinning wheel, and sheep's wool is interesting because it is a biodegradable option, but for us, we don't want to support a byproduct of these slaughterhouses and the mass breeding of these sheep. So for us, hemp fibre is such an incredible thing because it's from the stalk of the plant. You can do the same thing with nettles, and people have done for centuries. But yeah, you take the fibre once it's been processed and combed, so it's like a soft fibre, and you can spin it on the spinning wheel into a yarn, and then you can weave it on a loom to make fabric like this, which is then this one has been dyed with indigo to make it blue, and then it's been embroidered into. And also, there was one that I made for Zaya, wasn't there? This beautiful garment for our boy Zaya, and he wears this, and in fact he potty trained in this because it's not got any legs in it. It's like a tunic style thing. Yeah. And this was just hemp woven on our hemp redemption loom and sewn into a little garment with a hood for it.
Which one was started at Conscious Tribal Gathering?
The back one here. That was so this was like a practice piece that we did at a festival, and everyone at the festival contributed to making this back piece. And children would come along and have a go, and everyone was having a go at weaving on the loom, and then that made this piece.
For those who don't know, we run the Hemp Redemption Festival, and a big part of that festival for us as we move forwards, because we've only done one so far, and it was last year in 2020. So as we move forwards, thinking for the many years and the way it's going to grow, we really want hemp weaving and hemp spinning to be a big part of it.
Hemp education. We want to teach the skills and knowledge that we've been taught to others, because like I was saying, it's very time consuming weaving and making garments, and then you make something that's really precious to you. If everyone has them skills, they can make their own clothes. This is the hemp fibre once it's been processed, and it does actually look a little bit like
a type of
sheep's wool. It's like this sort of thing, and this is after it's been sort of processed. And
that was the stalk of a cannabis plant.
So this was the stalk of the plant. Originally it would have been a little bit more sort of brown looking, like this is more coarse, but this has been combed and combed and combed till it's like super soft, and then you can spin this then into yarn, or you can make mustaches with it, and then that makes yarn like this. Have I got some yarn? I'm not sure. Anyway, this is sort of a crochet version of the fabric. You can make scrubby cloths to wash yourself. That's another thing that's a massive issue, is all the cleaning scrub cloths people are using end up in landfill. So trying to make a lot of the things that usually sent to landfill, if you can try and make them out of hemp or natural fibres, that's a good way of trying to reduce what we send to landfill. Because for us, we're constantly trying to reduce what we send to landfill, but we constantly feel so guilty about all the bloody plastic that we buy. We do, and there's people who do, the zero waste movement are so inspiring to us, and they get us using our reusable drinks bottles and just the small steps that we can take every day to minimise that waste. But even still, we find ourselves everything's wrapped in bloody plastic, isn't it? And we do our best, but we can do so much more. We've started to try now, because we were driving through Spain and we saw, it was the most astonishing thing we've ever seen, was just miles of plastic as far as the eye could see, of plastic greenhouses, all across the horizon, surrounded by mountains, and that's where they're growing all the food that then they're shipping to countries like the UK, and they're shipping it all over the world. And we just couldn't believe our eyes, and that it's really made us want to not go into these supermarkets and buy food from there.
Southeast Spain.
Instead we're trying to seek out like small market farms where they're growing the food in a much more.
It's made us want to do that more. So we were doing that anyway.
We were trying to do that. But
we only saw that recently.
We were like sort of relying on supermarkets sometimes if you couldn't seek the right place out, or they were shut and things like this.
The benefit with the small organic stores and health food shops is that their organic vegetables and fruits aren't wrapped in plastic, which the supermarkets do.
They're the organic options are wrapped in plastic.
And then
it's not even biodegradable plastic either.
But then the non-organic's been, a lot of it in the UK, unfortunately, is shipped in from Spain, which we saw the other day. We had no idea we were about to see this. It was just like, as far as the eye can see, as Katie said, it's all plastic covering fruit and veg growing under the sun. But that could all be hemp,
and there wouldn't really be an issue then. The issue is so unfortunate, and I really think we should all call upon our governments to mandate biodegradable plastics, because if they can mandate bloody masks and they can mandate, all these rules and regulations we're all having to follow, please could you mandate some biodegradable plastic? And unfortunately, a lot of these people high up, they've got the profits interest in these plastic companies. And in fact, wasn't it the case that the single-use plastic use was dropping dramatically, wasn't it? And people were becoming really awake to the impact that plastic was having on our environment. And then the pandemic hit, and all of a sudden, with all of the masks and all of the tests and all of the PPE, all the single-use plastic went shooting right up. And there was even adverts on our things saying invest in plastic now, plastic's back, and all this, and it's very like just so unfortunate and awful that it can't be a hemp plastic. Sorry, I'm talking loads and it's your song.
It's alright.
I'm like, listen, write to your governments now.
Goddess Margu, I just like wait,
Goddess Margu is the goddess of cannabis, by the way.
Yeah, the ancient deist goddess of cannabis from the Taoist sect, and of the way of infinite harmony. Yeah,
beautiful book. Do get a chance to read it. And they worship the goddess cannabis by setting up a shrine each day, and they'll take a flowering bud off the cannabis plant and they'll lay on the shrine, and they'll set fire to the flowering bud, and they'll breathe in the incense, and they'll say a prayer, and they'll have a meditation. In the West, we call it getting high, but they call it a beautiful meditation. And in case anyone's confused, hemp is cannabis and cannabis is hemp. And hemp is the name given to the fibre of the cannabis plant. And over years and years, they've bred hemp. They've bred cannabis for hemp, so they've bred this really low THC strain of cannabis that would never get you high, but it's mainly to be used for the fibre. But it is cannabis still, and we go to our friends' hemp farms and it smells like such strong cannabis. But it would never get you high, but it's got all of the benefits that cannabis has in terms of nutrition and health and fibre and clothing and all of the amazing uses that it has.
Incredible amount of uses, And our Hemp Redemption Festival brings together loads of teachers who have specialised in the different wisdom and knowledge of this plant, because I mean it's just exponential once you start looking into what hemp cannabis can actually achieve. And we can't claim to have all that knowledge, but what we do want to do is try and galvanise, bringing together all these incredible movements around this plant. We're just really hoping to see a much more liberal approach to both the plant and all of the wisdom and knowledge that has been oppressed around it. It's actually in 3/4. And the version for the album we was going to do is like that, but on piano. And I've got all this very complicated piano. It took like 20 takes to get it down. And then we didn't even end up using it. But this is reminiscent of the versions we were doing on the festivals, isn't it? And we're singing with everybody, and it was great playing it at the likes of Butterfield. In fact, I remember Katie running off stage to breastfeed Zaya.
This was Green Gathering.
It was Green Gathering. We had a power cut on a massive stage in front of hundreds of people.
Because it was solar
and then
powered.
just as the power cut happened, Zaya woke up. And so Katie runs off, and we're like, what?
And
Power
you're
cut.
alone
So
on
then I
stage.
picked up a guitar, and that guitar, and I went to the front of the stage, just like, I've never done this before, and I just started singing that song, just the chorus bit.
I remember
and my brother stood up,
hearing,
and everyone, the whole audience is like,
I remember hearing like a crowd of people singing it so loud, and I was like, oh my god, I want to be on stage. And then Cyrus settled with your mum, and I ran back on stage, and the whole like hundreds of people singing it. I was so impressed with you guys.
Yeah, we'd never played it live.
It's like, what are you going to do with the power cut?
Yeah.
And then the power came back on, didn't it?
And then the power came on. It's amazing when the power cuts happen, because you get that acoustic moment, and then it comes back on, and it's exhilarating, isn't it? So the song is...
I think it's an amazing song because it's a sad, horrible situation, the landfills, terrible, really need to stop adding to that. But it presents a solution, which is the hemp. And that gives it, that's why it's a positive song, because it shows that there's a way forwards. It's not like doom and gloom, oh, we're all going to live in a landfill forever. It's actually a way forwards out of it, which is to call upon our governments to mandate biodegradable plastic. It doesn't have to be made of hemp, as long as it's, you can make potato starch plastic, you can make all sorts of plastics, and it just needs some investment and some infrastructure to all of the machines that are making petrochemical plastics could literally be making biodegradable plastics. It just literally needs to be mandated. And unfortunately, our government's mates and all of the cronyism that's going on, all the mates are making profits off plastics, and that's probably why it's not happened. So we really need some. In fact, we just heard from Jeremy Corbyn's son, who's a part of the National Hemp Service in the UK, an incredible projects going on, and in London, and amazing to connect with him, because his father could have been elected into our country and could have been leading us down this path right now towards hemp, renewable energy and all this, and it's just incredible that it's gone the other way. We've got Boris blooming doing whatever he's doing, cronyism, getting his mates in 37 billion on track and trace, and no funding for the NHS.
38, wasn't it?
God knows.
Start to lose track of $1 billion here, $1 billion there. How much did we get? Like, it's crazy.
All that could have been funding hemp, biodegradable hemp.
Yeah,
it's not on. Sorry, go on.
No, it's alright.
It's not only a biodegradable alternative to plastics and clothing, but also to building materials like concrete. You can have hempcrete, and you can build houses with hemp. And it's such a superior product to the ones that they're using. That's the thing that's really frustrating, is that hemp is superior because it biodegrades, and because in a building context, it's like the way that it allows air to breathe through it. I'm just riffing, but we've heard.
Jemai was born in a hempcrete. Jemai was born in a hempcrete house.
Yeah, that's right.
Wasn't he? In Wales at the Chicken Shack. Yeah. And we were.
The whole porchway was made out of hemp and lime.
I think. Oh yeah, we'd written Hemp Redemption before we arrived there, but ended up writing the Hemp Milk song in that house.
Right.
Yeah. And we saw it with our own eyes, this hempcrete build, and we were living there, and it was phenomenal, wasn't it?
We do have a dream to one day build a hemp house.
That would be great.
Magic. I mean, by house I mean like a tiny home, like a hobbit home.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say by house I mean a castle. But
maybe
all right,
maybe
a mini castle.
A mini little castle.
Just build little castle hats around our heads.
Yeah. One day we would also love to run our home on wheels on hemp.
Stop changing the lyrics, love.
One day our home will run on hemp.
It would be great, that, wouldn't it? We really wish we were running this van on the Hemp Redemption stage on hemp.
But hemp oil is actually really expensive because it's really nutritious.
It's also not being subsidised like the whole dairy and meat industry.
Like literally 37 billion on that. Put that into hemp and everyone can
38,
have hemp.
Love.
Anyway, yes. What else would you like to say about this magnificent song?
It's in F major if you want to learn it. It's. I don't know. I just feel so honoured to have your incredible harmonies on it, and to have an incredible audience to play it for. And
we've got the Hemp Redemption stage now on the side of our home. We actually pulled down the stage at a local market. We're in Spain, and Spain's really open, like everything's open. And everything's really busy, but everyone's wearing masks in the streets. It's so strange. but all the bars and cafes are like jam-packed full of people without masks on. Very strange. Anyway, we pulled down our stage at this little market.
Really rural, wasn't
really
it? Up
rural,
a mountain.
in the middle of the mountains. And just thought there might be a few people coming through. Anyway, we play a few songs, and then there's like a festival in front of our van, like loads of people
totally
dancing.
Unplanned. It was incredible.
It was absolutely amazing, and we felt like it was a festival again. But we literally just folded down our stage to share a few songs.
We
and
did.
That happened
No expectation.
in front of it. So
it was wonderful,
just
wasn't it?
such an honour for us to be able to get the stage down and to just be able to share our music like that. Idea for the stage act, we was calling it a solution-based Imaginarium, weren't we?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, because we want to be singing about and pointing in the direction of the solutions that
we have.
And hemp provides a solution to so many of the issues. It's incredible. And you can't even grow it without a license from the government.
No.
How interesting is that?
Yeah.
So you can have them in your house as house plants. They're amazing, beautiful plants. You can eat the leaves as salad leaves.
Yeah.
You can eat the seeds as your, they're so nutritious for you.
They are super nutritious.
The fact that it's literally been criminalised to grow a plant is absolutely insane in the first place. And it's such a wonderful plant. Grow it, have it as a house plant. You can buy hemp seeds from your local health shop as long as they're not from China or America, which usually they've irradiated them and they won't grow anymore because of all this silly legislation. But if you buy hemp seeds, say from Europe or from other places in the world, you can just buy the hemp seeds and then grow them in pots, and then you've got beautiful house plants. And one hemp seed will give you a plant that gives you hundreds of hemp seeds. It's a beautiful cycle. And again, if you plant them in your garden, they create beautiful food for the birds, and such a beautiful plant, isn't it? Yeah, but anyway, don't do that if you're worried about getting in trouble, because the police can be silly. Our mate was growing hemp in her garden in Glastonbury, and the police made her remove them. And it was literally hemp seeds. It wasn't producing any THC, producing anything, and they made her remove them. It's just so insane. We can't quite get our heads around it.
No.
But we will continue to sing the praises of hemp cannabis, because it's a magnificent plant, and we will continue to bring together incredible teachers and educators who can who have far much more knowledge than us on the subject, to share with everyone at this year's Hemp Redemption Festival. And we're still confirming our location, and so the tickets haven't gone live yet, but if you join our event page on Facebook for Hemp Redemption Festival 2021, then all of the updates and announcements will be on there, and we really hope to share some wisdom and knowledge with you guys on magical hemp cannabis. And
so we'd just like to say a massive thank you to all of our Patreons and all of the people who've been donating and supporting these videos. So yes, thank you for tuning in to Grassroots Sessions. We love you all.
Next time. Love you.
Grassroots Sessions is made possible by our wonderful patrons who support us on Patreon. Thank you so much to all of you beautiful beings.
Please join our Patreon today to help us create more videos. Donations are also very welcome here.